Have you ever been in a store, grocery store, maybe a restaurant, or out in public somewhere, and there's a child having a tantrum? They're on the floor, they're screaming, or they're pounding their arms and legs, or their head on the ground. Has ever happened to you where you've witnessed this, or maybe one of your children has done this? Well, we're going to talk about how to deal with tantrums. So, welcome to the Pam Show. I'm obviously Pam, and I'm a parenting mentor focusing on common sense behavior management for neurotypical children age 2 to 12. And let me start by sharing a personal story. Now, I have four children, and only one ever tried a tantrum one time. Okay, this was my daughter, my oldest daughter. She was two at the time. She's now almost 39, so this was a very long time ago. Different era, keep that in mind. We're in the grocery store. It was in the morning, and I maybe 9, 10 o'clock. Weren't many people around, but she got mad at me because she wanted me to buy her some candy or something. And I said, no, it's too early. So she instantly threw herself down on the ground and started fake crying. She's like, I ignored her. I walked away. I went down the end of the aisle, went around to the end cap, and just kind of peeked around the corner. So she really couldn't see me, but I could kind of keep an eye on her. And she just kept doing that for like 30 seconds. And then when she realized nothing was happening, she ramped it up a little bit. So now she started pounding her feet and her arms on the floor. Now, if people walked past and they were looking at her, I would just go like, ignore her. So that went on for about 30 more seconds. And then when she realized nothing was happening, there was no reaction to her action. She got up, she came down the end of the aisle. I took her hand and we walked off and finished our shopping. I didn't say anything about it. I didn't scold her for it. I didn't tell her she shouldn't do it again. We didn't go into any discussions. I didn't ask her how she felt. We just went on about our business. She never did it again. Okay. So we're going to talk about how you can handle tantrums. This is my opinion of how you handle tantrums. I know there's a lot of differing opinions, and you may agree with me, you may not. You be you, but I'm going to tell you how I would suggest you handle tantrums. All right, let's take a scenario. First of all, let's start with set your child up for success. So if you're taking a young child, a toddler, an 18-month-old, a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, and you're going into a store, make sure it's not when they're tired or they're hungry, and make sure they feel okay. Because if you take them into that situation where they're already tired or they're hungry or they don't feel well, and you put them in a position where they might react to that, you're setting them up for failure. So set them up for success. So make sure they've had a snack, make sure they're not tired. Now, I know it can't always be perfect like that. You can't always manage your schedules around that, but do the best you can. Have little, toys or something in a bag that they can play with. Something that you only use when they go out in public like that. Okay, there you go. You're setting them up for success. But let's say you're in a store. Let's pick Target. Everybody loves Target or Walmart. Okay, you're in the store. Your child's in the cart. Let's say your child's in the cart. Because if you're smart, you're putting your child in the cart, not letting them walk beside you. Okay, put your child in the cart. Give them something to play with. But say now they're starting to fuss because they want something. And you tell them, no, we can't get that today. Then they start to fuss. You can stop what you're doing immediately. Now, listen, don't talk to them. Don't try to explain anything to them. Don't try to reason with them. We're talking toddlers, right? 2-year-olds, early threes. Say nothing. Just say nothing. Just turn back to them. Now, you have to keep an eye that they're not climbing out of the buggy, right? But keep an eye on them. But don't say anything. Don't engage. Period. Don't look at them. Don't touch them. Don't engage. The minute they're done, proceed. Go about your business shopping. Okay. And when they're doing things the way they should, as they're sitting there quietly, say, thank you. I love the way you're sitting there quietly. This is so much fun shopping with you. So you praise them for the positive behavior that you do want to see. All right. Let's say you're in the store and your child's like 6, 7, 8 years old. Now, if they're that age and they're throwing tantrums, you need to have some serious discussions. There's some behavior modification that needs to happen. Okay. But if they're like 4 or 5, say they're 3, 4, and 5, and they get mad or upset with you and they throw themselves on the floor, here's what you do. You turn your back on them. You don't speak to them. You don't touch them. Look at your phone. I don't know. Twiddle your thumbs. Sing a song. No engagement whatsoever. Period. You don't get down and talk to them. try to help them understand, give them hugs. Mommy loves you. I'm sorry you're upset. None of that baloney. And that's a bunch of baloney. I'm sorry. None of that. Because what you're doing is reinforcing that negative behavior because now they're getting your attention for it. And I know people go, we understand the brain develops. Okay, spare me on all this. All right. People have been doing it this way for a very long time because it's effective. There's a reason they do it this way for a very long time. You say nothing. The minute they're done, take their hand, go on the way. You don't react. You don't talk about it. You don't discuss it. None of that. Now, let's say it's your, 2-year-old on the floor throwing a fit, an 18-month-old, they're on the floor throwing a fit because, they're not really verbal. They express their feelings and emotions through behavior because they can't communicate, but you still don't allow it to happen. You still don't reinforce it. Now, I've had people say to me, no, you sit on the floor and you hug them and you kiss them and you tell them you love them. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because let me tell you something. First of all, when they're raging like that, when they are so upset that they're crying and they're raging, they're not hearing a word you are saying. You are wasting your breath. Save it. You're wasting your breath. Because think about yourself. Have you ever been to a point where you're so angry at somebody and then they start talking to you like, you need to calm down? You're like, get away from me. So you're not hearing that. It's like you're in your own little zone. You're wasting your breath and you're reinforcing again the negative behavior because now they're like, wow, I got mommy's attention. I need to do this again. No, you don't. Stop. Don't engage. All right. Now, if they're in the store and they're not loud, this is if they're not screaming and disrupting the whole environment for everybody else, because that is not cool. Now, I don't care how sweet you think your little angel is. Nobody else does, for the most part, like reality check here. And they don't want to hear your child screaming, especially if they're in a restaurant trying to eat. And your child screaming and disrupting everybody, and you're doing nothing about it, either because you don't know what to do or you just aren't bothering to do anything about it. Wrong. Big. Okay. So if they're in the store and they are screaming and crying and disrupting, you're going to do one of several things. One, you just pick them up. I don't care if you have to sling them over your shoulder, football hold, take them out of the store. Now, here's where you have options. One, you can just take them home, put them in the car and take them home. And you don't say anything about it. You don't discuss it again. No scolding, no. You wait till we get home. You're into nothing. Put them in their seat. Go home. Don't say a word. Go home. That's it. Okay? They're going to quickly learn, wow, that didn't work. Okay. Now, someone said, well, what if they do want to go home and that's why they're screaming? Okay. Here's how you handle this. Or I've had people say, but I have to shop that day. That's like the only day I have, or I had to take a bus here. I don't have transportation or whatever. Okay, got it. That happens sometimes. Understand that. So say you absolutely have to shop that day, or you're relying on public transportation and you can't just take them home. You go outside to a bench. If there's a bench outside somewhere, quiet place away from everybody else, and you just sit the child down and you turn your back. Now you got to kind of keep your eye, but you turn your back. And you don't say a word. Again, sing a song, read a book. I don't care what you do. Do not engage with the child. The minute they stop, take them by the hand and go, okay, let's go. We're going to go shopping. And you go. You're calm, you're cool, you're collected. You're not letting this get to you. Now, trust me, what'll happen sometimes, most of the times, is they're going to try to ramp it up to a higher level of screaming or wave their arms and legs around or whatever they do. It's very hard as a parent to sit there and listen to that and not want to react. But trust me on this, you do not want to react. You stay calm. You just turn your back and you ignore them. Our first instinct as parents, especially as moms, is to nurture and love and hug our child and calm them and none of that. Okay? Ignore them. So now if they've stopped, you go back in the store. Or if you have your vehicle there and you absolutely have to go shopping, it's the only day and time you have. You take the child to the car, put them in the car seat, strap them in. If it's hot outside, obviously turn the air conditioning on. You stand outside of the car with your back to your child. You don't engage, you don't discuss, you don't talk, none of it. You just stand there. Look around. I don't care what you do. Do not interact. The minute they stop, you take them out and you go back in the store. If they do it again, you go back to the car and you do it again. they're going to understand. Now, what will happen is it may only take one time for this to happen. It may take two or three. Sometimes that does. The kids are a little willful and they're going to push you as far as they can push you. So at that point, by three, you should be done. Rarely does it go that far, but because they understand now. Now, I've had people say, well, I take them home. If there's somebody else at home, I leave them and I go back to the store. Awesome. Great option. If you're in a restaurant and your child's loud and screaming and crying, you remove them from the premises, take them outside, repeat what I just said. Either sit them on a bench, take them to the car until they're calm, then go back in. But you don't allow your child to disrupt everybody else around them who is there to have a nice meal or is there to shop and get their shopping done, and they don't want to hear your child screaming and crying. Okay, so those are some options of what you can do for tantruming. And I tell you, this works. Now, I had a couple of people say what they did is they laid on the floor beside their child and threw their own tantrum. And when the child saw it, they were like, what are you doing, mommy? Get up. And they never did it again. Okay, that's an option for you. I personally would not do that. Personally would not do that. And as far as, like I said, getting down on the ground and hugging them and, oh, mommy loves you and all that stuff. Okay, no, you're reinforcing the negative behavior because now they've learned if I act like this, I'm going to get this attention. And that's not what you want them to do. You can give them positive attention when they're behaving positively, not when they're behaving negatively. So keep that in mind because you're just reinforcing it and they're just going to learn. That's learned behavior. Then you're teaching them how to act. Okay. And again, so important that you're setting your children up for success in the first place. Now, if you're taking a tired and hungry child, an 18-month-old or 2-year-old into the store and it's nap time and they haven't had lunch yet or whatever, you are setting yourself up for failure as well. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that. You know, I spent years doing workshops for early care educators, early childhood teachers. And I used to drill into their heads, don't set yourself up for failure. Don't set your children up for failure in your classroom. If you know how to manage behaviors and you know how to manage your classroom and supervise and do those things, you're not going to have a lot of these issues because you're being proactive instead of reactive. We want you to be proactive. Nobody wants to have to deal with that. Nor do you. Nobody wants to hear, but why would you want to deal with that? That's not fun for you. You're out to go shopping or go to lunch, and now your child's acting like a little hellion and you're having to deal with it, and people are looking at you and they're judging you. And please, whatever you do not cave in and give them what they wanted. Now, I've seen this happen. I saw it happen in Target not too long ago. Mom's pushing the buggy at the checkout. I was right behind her in the checkout. And there were two kids, and they looked to be like, I don't know, 3 and 5 maybe. And they were just all over them. They were both in the cart, but they were just wild and grabbing things at the checkout. And she's like, would you guys just stop it? Stop it. You're driving me crazy. Oh, I could relate. Totally could relate to that. And then she's telling me, you guys, I'm not going to bring you with me ever again. Look at the way you act. And then 2 seconds later, the kid's like, can I have a candy bar? Yep. Like just rewards that negative behavior. So what do you think it taught him? I can behave that way and still get what I want, right? Or I've seen where child's wanting a toy and they're crying, I want it, I want it, I want it. Mom's like, nope, we can't afford it. We're not going to buy it. And the kid screams and the mom buys it to shut the kid up. What do you think the child has learned here? That I can do that and I'm going to get rewarded for it. We don't want to reward negative behavior. We want to encourage positive behavior. This is really simple. This is really common sense. It's not hard to do. Well, sometimes it can be challenging because your kid's screaming and you want to console them, but don't. And it's hard to listen to them screaming sometimes, but you just have to remember to yourself, I'm teaching my child how I expect them to behave. And you're not harming them. Now, I've had people say, I'll just pick them up off the ground and spank their butt. Okay, well, you're not teaching them anything either, other than you're bigger than them and you can hit them when you don't like the way they act, which teaches them that that's what they should do to people when they don't like the way they act. Okay? And we're not getting the spanking debate here because you know how I feel about spanking. I'm just saying this is a very simple and easy method. It's just ignoring the bad behavior and praising the positive. But you have to make sure when they are behaving the way you want them to, that you praise that. Now, not constantly where it's ad nauseum. Oh, I love you. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh my gosh, you're such an angel. None of that. Like, hey, And you have to be specific on your praise. Remember, children are literal and specific. I love the way you're sitting quietly in the cart. This makes shopping so much fun for both of us. I love the way you're using your inside quiet voice. Thank you. See how simple it is? None of this is hard. None of this is rocket science. It's just common sense. Okay? And until next episode, remember, hug and love your babies. Bye, y'all.